Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. So today we finished this week where we've been looking at the Shema, that incredible instruction to Israel, to hear, O Israel, the Lord your God, the Lord is one, and you should love him with all your heart, soul, mind, strength. The commandment that Jesus said was the most important of all the commandments because it wraps up all of the law. And we've been looking at it and looking at the verses that follow and how important it was to teach these laws diligently to your children. And that's in verse 7 of Deuteronomy 6. And then I wanted to finish out this passage because it says, after teach it to your children, Moses instructed people to talk of them when you sit in your house and when you walk by the way. He says, when you lie down and when you rise. Those are merisms. M-E-R-I-S-M comes from the Latin merismus, which actually comes from the Greek merismos. But a merism is where you take two extremes to reference the whole. We have merisms in our expressions like that's the long and the short of it. Meaning that's everything. So a merism is, you have two of them here, two of these. One is when you're sitting at home or when you're walking by the way. The other is when you rise up or when you sit. It just means all the time. So we're constantly to be thinking about God and his message for humanity. In fact, it goes on to say, you shall bind them on your hand. I have a wedding ring that I wear on my finger. Sometime to my wife's chagrin, I will take the wedding ring and move it to another finger. And the reason why is because it feels so awkward there that I constantly think, what's that doing there? And it reminds me, oh yeah, I moved it to another finger to help me remember something. When I was a kid, people used to talk about tying a string to your finger to help you remember something. We all have different things to help us remember. And that's the principle here. Tie it to your hand to fix it to your hand so you see it all the time. But it goes beyond that. It symbolizes the idea that everything your hand does, we tend to work with our hands. Everything your hand does, it should be doing in light of the relationship and instructions that we have from God. And then it says to make them as frontlets between your eyes. Back in ancient Israel's culture, in Israel and Egypt, we have reliefs and drawings that show people would wear things on their forehead. And it not only symbolized something that went before them, but it was also something that others would see. And that's the way it is with God's instructions for us and our relationship with God. It should not only be something that causes us to use it and to do all of our work in light of it, but it should be what leads us in our life and what others see in us. And so we have that. And then Moses ends this passage by saying that it's to be written on the doorposts of the house and on the gates. And a lot of practicing Jews will have a mezuzah, will have this Shema printed out and put in a place on their door, and they'll even kiss it on the way in or on the way out, because it's to be a constant reminder to us, whether we're going out into the world or whether we're coming home from the world, that we do everything we touch, everything we work, what leads our day, what people see in us should be our relationship with God, with the Lord, our God, and his instructions for us on how to walk with him. There's nothing that's more important in this life. And it's the way I want to end my video thoughts of the day this week, with an urge for you to go back to this idea, to listen, to hear, not just in a cold mechanical way, but in a warm personal way. Hear, O Israel, the Lord, our God, he's in relationship with us, is one. And that singular truth of God is a singular truth that we should pursue to love with everything that we've got. And in doing so, let it be what drives everything our hands do, Let it be what other people see in us as we lead with our forehead or our chin into the world. When we leave our homes, when we come back, when we teach our children, when we rise up, when we go to sleep, every time, every minute of every day. Let's live it in recognition of the Lord, our God, and our love for him. And that's your Shema week ended. It's your video thought for the day. I'll see you next Monday on Memorial Day. God bless you this weekend.